In the vast world of Minecraft, survival is everything. But what happens when you spawn on a tiny island with nothing but a single tree and an endless ocean? No villages, caves, no animals, just one player against the elements. I swear, I must have a love-hate relationship with these challenge videos, but here we are once again stranded on an island with nothing except for this chest and this tree that we have here behind me, which we're not allowed to leave this island for whatever reason, and this is the only tree that we have on the island. I do notice that we do have some sugarcane, which is definitely a good thing too, but we can head into this chest here and we'll notice that it's mostly like skyblock related with a lava bucket and some ice with the chest and some more sugarcane, an extra bucket which we'll take, and then maybe some cobblestone in the chest as well. We might as well take ourselves that sugarcane too and get to harvesting the one that we have over here as well. We can punch down this guy and get our first sugarcane, and then of course the first thing that we're gonna need to do is to punch down this tree. After placing down these guys once again, and now we can get along to felling our first tree of the world. Although not really actually, in reality this is my forever survival world, and just over the corner we have our Kingdom of Audubon, which probably explains why we're not getting any new advancements and why we don't have any new recipes in this world, along with the fact that my experience bar is at level 44 as we technically get our first sticks, air quotes. But one of the major things that I have an issue with when I do these 100 days videos is that once I'm done with the 100 days, I'm done with the world together, and so I'd rather keep this area in my world, and then we can come back to it at a later time since we'll always have this in our forever world, which you'll be able to see on my main channel. So I guess that you could call this challenge a bit of a side hustle, and I hope that you're okay with me playing this in a world that I've already played in, but we're only going to stick to the rules and stay within this island as much as we can at least. And we'll get our first sapling of the world too. But the rules are that we're stranded to this island until at least we beat the game. We can start punching out some dirt and make room for a tree felling or a tree growing area. And besides that, the only other rule that I have for myself is that I'm going to try my best to set an hour timer every single time that I record, so we'll know how much time has progressed in this lovely looking island, which you'll all have to give me the name of on the second channel, where we'll get a more episodic, uncut experience. Although I would be surprised if I don't fit some cinematics in here and there, because that does just seem to be how I roll. But we'll get rid of the rest of this dirt as the sun begins to set, and then I think that we'll continue on to see if we can get ourselves any seeds, and it looks like we have our first one. We'll also quickly place down a couple of saplings here and then leave one for ourselves just in case, and maybe grab a bit of sand as well. We can fill our water bucket with water, and then I do think that it's best that we start digging down into the soil for our first night, where we'll run into our first stone, and so we'll make our first crafting table, maybe plug it right into the wall there, and then make our first stone pickaxe, which will let us keep mining on down, although we'll keep grabbing even more cobblestone for the moment so that we can make ourselves a furnace, which we can make right now, and get to smelting a piece of coal so that we can make some torches. Although it's not something I would usually do, I just want you to be able to see me. I think that we'll actually move our crafting table down with our furnace, and it seems to be raining with some creepy crawlies over at the surface, so we'll definitely be staying down below here for the moment, but I think that we'll continue to mine down with one torch on our offhand. It does look like we've stumbled into our first coal, which is definitely a huge win on materials, although I do happen to already have the experience, which once again, you'll have to forgive. It's the only way that I can do this playthrough in my forever world, and if you're enjoying this and the soft music in the background, consider leaving a like on the video. I am also gonna treat these episodes like a mini Q&A where I get to answer one of your questions, or at least one of your questions, every single episode. So if you're here and you have any questions for this guy Slip, please do consider leaving them in the comments below. And we have a wonderful comment from Dino X, who asks, what are your plans for your future content creation journey? Do you have anything in mind? And oh yeah, totally. I definitely have any plans in mind, but at the same time, I'm open to so many different opportunities as well. We are gonna have to make ourselves another stone pickaxe, by the way, and then we'll break that guy back down. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that I have in mind, and yeah, just so many ideas, but in reality, I don't have enough time in the day in order to make them happen, which is why I think for so many of us, being a content creator is just living the dream. Oh no, and a zombie has gotten in here. The zombie's gotten in here and it's still raining out, which means there could be mobs on the surface. And there are. Oh, look how many. I don't have any food. Oh, that could have been so bad. Oh, that could have been so bad. Okay, we're gonna have to get back to your question, Dino, in a second. Okay. Let me think here, Slip. Let's get away from the zombies. We can kill ourselves some fish, I believe. We have enough wood and we have our crafting table. So we'll place it down here real quick. And then we'll make ourselves a stone sword. Should have enough time with the zombies over there to hopefully punch down our crafting table. It's getting a little bit riskier than I thought it was going to be. Who knows, I might not be even able to break that guy down at the moment. We'll come back up with 2 pieces of dirt so that we can break this guy down from the surface right here. Hopefully make it a little bit more quick and efficient, and we can do it as one of these guys just happens to pop into a drowned. Both of them, and I think that it is time to get away from these guys. Hopefully go and get ourselves some fish over here. Take a couple stabs at you guys. Thank you for the fuel. We desperately need it. And then also, I do actually think that we can do something with kelp. Not exactly sure what, but I do think that we can do something. So I say that we continue to try to evade these guys and collect up everything that we can, although I definitely do not want to get too close to them, not at all, and they're actually quite a speedy bunch in the water. So I think that we'll go and collect our fish, and then maybe go on the hunt for some more here, where then we can head back to the island, which is now clear of mobs, and to continue to break down some more of these seeds, and some more of the sugarcane as well. I'm gonna have to replace you. You're just bothering me. I can't have one dirt block out of place like that. I think we have another 2 right over here, unless actually that's the entrance to our mine shaft. We're gonna have to leave this guy be at the moment, but y'all already know that I can't be having my terrain look like that forever. It does look like we're still waiting on these saplings to grow into trees. I really do wish that it would happen a little bit more quickly, but we can get to placing down some more sugarcane, and then off we go to hopefully get ourselves some more fish here, which it seems like my aim is pretty on point at the moment. I'm sure I'm gonna jinx it. No, I did. No surprise there. Maybe we can get him that time. But man, I really do wish that the rain and the fog would let up, because I do think that since I started early, we already have phantoms spawning in, because I was AFK in the survival world before doing this, and so we're off to an unfair advantage for sure off the rip. But I do think that I'm gonna space this guy out a little bit over here just in case, and then we can place down our crafting table and make up some torches so that we can light up the island, and then maybe hopefully we can do something on it tonight. And just like that, as the sun begins to set, I'm feeling pretty equipped for the night on the island, although maybe hopefully we can grab a couple more quick fish before the sun sets. Right over here I'm seeing a couple, and a dolphin too. I think we'll be able to get maybe 2 before the sun fully sets here. And just like that, our first sapling has grown into a tree over there as well. A huge win. But there is one more school of fish down here that you can't really see, but I'm gonna try to get myself. And bada bang. Oh, and I forgot that you can get bone meal from them as well. That's a big win. And maybe we'll try our best to go fishing for the night, because I don't think any mobs besides drowned are gonna run up on us. But I gotta say, that lava drain over there, the lava spilling down from the cliff is quite beautiful, along with the stars and the moon in the night sky. Wow, I'm not sure why that was so difficult to say. But I felt that way. I just wanted to share it with you all. But yeah, I do think that we'll continue to go and try to get ourselves ourselves some fish while we can. But yeah, Dino, while we're out here looking for fish, which we happen to have below us, I might as well continue to answer your question, which once again is, do you have any future plans for Minecraft or just content creation in general? Which, by the way, that was a completely total random snipe of that fish right there. I can't believe I just took it out. So hard for me to get him when I'm trying, as you can see. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk about my goals going forward in another comment of the day video. But I will talk about a couple of them now. And I guess that some of them are changing as of the start of the series that we have going on right now. You see, I am definitely in a bit of a more transitional phase of life at the moment, and I'm seeing a lot more of my free time open up. So a lot of the ideas that I have in mind when it comes to YouTube and that sort of thing, I'm really hoping to put into action in 2025. So I know that you're here for that, and thank you for your support as always. I'm going to take some damage here. I have 3 hearts. I think that it might be time to head back to the island after getting all of the fish and bone meal that I happen to collect, of course. But yeah, as you know, I am a member of the Lotus SMP, and we are working on episode 13 of that series at the moment on the main channel. I am so glad to be a part of that group of people and to be making those videos. I'm definitely the most proud of those videos that I've made. And so to continue to work on those, after 14 videos, we'll have the second movie come out on the main channel. And I'm very excited for that. I think that I need to prioritize the thumbnail a little bit more than I did on the last one, because it really makes a difference in the packaging of your video. And I have definitely some, I think, really high quality videos within this next bundle for the movie. So continue to work on videos just like that, but at the same time, my base is getting close to finished, at least for what I'm considering for the season. So I think that to do a bunch of community projects as well, and to definitely help everybody out, and to be a little bit more, collaborative and community based, and to work with other people on different Minecraft servers as well. So that's definitely one part of it, I would say. I also do think that it's important to smelt up a furnace and then hopefully make yourselves, I don't even know if it's going to last the entire way, one more piece of charcoal right here. And then we'll once get down to punching down logs. I do think that we'll make ourselves another furnace here, and we can place it down just like that, where we can smelt our fish in this one, and then maybe make a bit more charcoal in this one. And then we'll make our first stone axe and stop chopping down our first official trees with an item, or with a tool, better put. Oh, and man, I never like having to chop down these big oak trees right here. Although I do like having them on this island, because eventually, aside from saplings right here, we can also potentially get an apple, which we can use to get some villagers trading at some point in time. We can take away some fish and then get to eating it immediately. We definitely want to replenish our hunger here. We'll, of course, place back down those saplings and reharvest our sugarcane while we're at it. I do actually want to make a stone hoe as well, so that we can place our first seeds into the soil. And technically, we would get a seedy place advancement, although only technically is this place a fresh world. But I say that while we have daylight, why don't we continue to harvest down wood and saplings while we can? And while we continue to do so, I say that why don't I try to at least continue to answer or finish your comment of the day or question, Dino. Although, man, I'm really hoping that we can get an apple at some point. I can't believe that we still haven't gotten one, but I do plan on continuing to do the main Lotus series and then the comment of the day, maybe switching up the time frame when it comes to, oh, there is an apple right here. Maybe switching up the time frame when it comes to how often we do it, but definitely continuing to do it. But then at the same time, doing this and like a mini comment of the day as a ongoing series that we also have here in the survival world. And then, of course, the main episodes that we'll probably still have on the main channel of Slip Survival World, which everything in the Kingdom of Otapon is really coming together. I highly recommend you taking a look at it if you still haven't. But big things to come, and I really do just enjoy spending time on this world, I gotta say, even if it's partially doing a challenge video like this and switching it up a little bit, living on an island for however long this goes. We'll have to see. If this was to get 500 likes, I would do 500 days or 50 hours, I would say. Right now, we'll just see how long it goes. But yeah, let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that in the long run and seeing a massive movie out of that. But that sounds very out of reach. But we'll see how far we can get here. And I'm enjoying this switch up definitely at first. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I have the hiccups at the moment, but I think that we'll continue to collect and place down these saplings as the sun begins to set, and then collect our charcoal and maybe get to making a little bit more as well, along with continuing to smelt our fish here too. We are collecting some more saplings, so I am going to place them down as well. And then I say, why don't we try to get a couple more seeds from the grass too. It looks like we have one more here. Another tree to fell down right here as the moon begins to rise. And then we'll make a shovel and get to tilling down this area over here. Because just being honest, this land's right here. It just seems to bother me a little bit. It seems to jut out too much, and I definitely want to flatten down the land so that we can get some builds in here too. And just like that, the entire area is flattened out. It's much better feeling like that. We seem to have collected one extra seed, so we'll place you down here. And then I do think that we actually want to collect this dirt if we can. We might consider this island to be on limits. You'll have to let me know what you guys, though I almost looked at him. I almost looked at the Enderman over there. You'll have to let me know if you consider this island to be on limits here, but or that island to be on limits there. But besides that, oh man, I think that dirt is an extra big commodity when you can't get anything from anything over here. All those structures, like this awesome temple looking thing that we see in the distance right here, we'll definitely consider on limits part of the game progression and exploration, I think, along with shipwrecks and that sort of stuff as well. We can place down even more oak saplings too, and then maybe some torches to light up the area as well. And then we'll collect the rest of our fish, get some more charcoal as well. And I don't know if you can hear that, and set 5-minute timer. It looks like we are on the clock for our first hour in this island, and so maybe we head down under and try to get ourselves some iron. But yes, on top of all of those things, Dino, I am working on maybe a Desert 100 Days playthrough, and then it would also be really nice to do some more events with other Minecraft creators. It does look like we happen to have found a bit more coal here too, which I'm definitely gonna consider a dub. We'll definitely take anything here for the early game. Yeah, Dino, at the same time, we will have to see how long all those plans take to happen and go into fruition. I mean, I do want to do some sort of build with Amchumu at some point and work with, yeah, as I was saying, a bunch of other content creators and a bunch of my friends, but being able to line up time zones and time frames when you guys are all on different schedules can be difficult from not time to time, but is definitely just difficult in general. So we'll have to be able to see if we can make everything that's on my wish list happen. But I can promise you that I am not going anywhere. So once again, if you are still here, I do appreciate you. Yeah, consider leaving a like on the video. I do think that with all of these ores in hand, we are starting to get somewhere. And so I think we'll fill in this area here. And then there goes my timer. It has officially, or at least as soon or as close as I can, been an hour. Our first hour on this island. So I say, let's head on up to the surface. Hopefully, yes, it is daytime. So humble beginnings on this cute, fancy little island with trees popping up all over the place and some lava in the distance. I hope that you're enjoying this playthrough, and thank you for spending some of your time with me. But I say, why don't we get back to work? One thing that I think a lot about when I'm making videos is that for the intro in particular, I feel like it always has to feel perfect. Like I feel like I always have to say the right things and do the intro multiple times. And then when I finally get into recording, then everything starts to click and I can get into like commentary gear. But we are once again back for our second hour here on this island, already getting back to work, chopping down a bunch of the saplings that we have here in the area. We'll, of course, be responding to some of your questions and getting a little bit more progress done here on the island as well. I was thinking before stream at the gym, or before the video at the gym, about what I wanted to do. And I think that part of the pleasure about just taking this hour by hour and talking and hanging out with you all is that I get to kind of just play it by ear and see the progress that we can make over time. So I'm excited for it, and if you are too, consider leaving a like here on the video. But I do think that it would be nice to get ourselves some iron and maybe expand the farmland a little bit so that we can get ready to make an XP farm at some point in time. I think that we're also going to maybe do the same and expand our sugarcane as well. And I did just also want to say thank you so much for all of the love and support on the first episode of the series. I've honestly had such a blast making these videos, and I'm really glad that you've been liking them too. Once again, I think that it goes back to the whole, well, the intro needs to be perfect, and I think that I've always refrained from doing these more talky sort of videos because A, I didn't really feel like I had a voice for it, and B, I didn't feel like I had anything to share or say, and so I felt like I needed to make up for it as a person and as a Minecraft content creator by overdoing the cinematics and making tons of replay mod videos, which you've definitely seen on the channel a million times. But I have really been enjoying switching it up a little bit with you all. So once again, thank you so much for all of the love and support that we've had recently. We'll continue to punch along at the sugarcane, and then I think that we'll actually place our newfound saplings on this edge only, and we'll get to taking out this layer of terrain on the island as well. And then once again, we can get along to collecting the dirt, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are on me doing this different camera angle. It's so hard to get each block in particular, but and there goes our shovel. It's so fun to do, honestly. And so I say, let's make two more. It really is always such a funny reminder for me that after always using diamond tools, whenever you go back to using stone tools, it just takes forever. And I was just messing around a little bit with my free cam mod settings, and I'd love for it to make it so that I can kind of keep the angle so that, as I was saying, kind of keep the angle so that the entire time that I'm mining out this dirt area over here, the angle would stay consistent, and then I can go back into first person, but then when I go back, It doesn't have a new angle for me, if that makes sense. So we'll have to figure that out at some point in time. But for this series, as I'm saying, as someone that always tries to do cinematics, I'm trying to not do cinematics as much as I can, which means that I have to start being creative with the other transitions that all of the other Minecraft YouTubers do. We'll craft even more stone shovels, and then back to the grind we go. But the good news is here, we're gonna have plenty of dirt to expand the island, and since this is such a big island, we're gonna have enough dirt to hopefully get some farm animals to spawn in at some point in time. You see, on the most recent 100 Days Island video that I did, the island was so small that there was maybe only 20, maybe not even 20 blocks of dirt and grass on the island in all. And what that meant was that I didn't actually have enough grass animals spawn in. Because if you didn't know, if you have enough grass block in any world, in any area, there is an off chance that you can get a non-violent, non-hostile mob to spawn in the area, meaning a pig or a cow or a sheep. And so that's what we'll be doing. Maybe not, hopefully just on the island as it is. I'm not totally expecting it, but eventually when we make a mob farm, probably in this direction over here, then we'll be able to hopefully have a platform as we go back and forth where we can spawn in some animals. And we can finally finish up here, along with take down this tree as well. And just like that, our island is already going through some major changes. We might as well take you down too for some good measure. And so we'll place our saplings back down. And I really do it in no rhyme or reason. I know that some people put it into an array, but for me, I kind of just go with the flow with it. And I kind of do just want to say that there really is something to be said about the more that you do anything, of course, the better that you get at it. And I feel like I would never have been able to make a video like this a year or two ago where I kind of just talk and commentate while I play. I kind of would just give an update on what I'm doing as opposed to doing anything real time. And so, yeah, you do get better at things, and I never would have been able to do anything like this. And so, yeah, be proud of yourself. And of course, it starts to rain again. Man, I think that we might as well go down into our mine shaft and continue to look for some more minerals then. But yeah, you never really know what you're gonna get out of something when you first start doing it. For me, there's so much that I've been able to get out of Minecraft and community out of YouTube, but also the skills that you get when you start doing something and you're consistent over time. Doing Minecraft and YouTube has been one of those things for me, and I feel like I'm starting to come a long way. And it's good to see the growth throughout the process. And you can do it too. I mean it. If you're watching this video and you've thought about making YouTube videos and maybe about Minecraft and like doing it, you can totally do it. You totally can do it. And I must say, you'll never know if you don't try. And there goes our last stone pickaxe for the moment too. Although the good news is that we're starting to get plenty of materials in terms of wood and whatnot. So we'll be good to go from here on out. And we'll head on up to a rainy morning here on the island, where once again, we'll continue to collect some seeds and harvest plant down our sugarcane as well. It does look like our mini farm over here is ready for harvest just about too. But I'm also going to put my bone meal in my hand so that we can get as much profit as we can at the moment. So I think that we'll collect you, and the two of you continue to till down the land and expand our farm. And of course, plant down the seeds before maybe bone mealing that guy, taking those 2 seeds as well. And now we have 4 pieces of wheat just in case we ever need it. And we might as well use our last piece of bone meal as well for good measure. Now I think that we're going to take out our dirt and start to get to expanding our island for good measure. I'm not quite sure how far we want to go out, but we do want to go out a decent amount. I'm thinking here should be all right for now, and I think that we'll go 3 wide for the moment. Actually, scratch that. I think that we're just going to continue on out. We'll have to take away the kelp to keep going, and then we can come back in here. And what we'll do is, it won't look pretty at first, but we're going to make this part of our area into a farm area. Now we're going to take our cobblestone and we're going to line the outer area, which is so funny. I feel like whenever I'm building, even if it's just above water right here, I'm always crouching. I think it's something that I've just taken away from hardcore, but it really is so much faster just using cobblestone and building back like this. And another thing about progress as well is that just generally speaking, I wouldn't be able to build as good or as fast as I can nowadays. And by no means is this fast for a lot of other people. I am quite aware of that, but of course I try to mess up as soon as I start going. But, you know, I wouldn't have been able to be nearly as good in Minecraft, just in terms of progress and whatnot. Being able to beat the game on these challenges, all the different things, if it wasn't for just trying and muscle memory and experimenting and getting better with experience over time. So there's definitely something to be said about it. And this is our first playthrough and we haven't died yet. Of course, I'm going to jinx it, I'm sure now. But now we're going to come down every other with some dirt just like this. And once again, it does seem that it's a good thing that our island is so big. We might not have enough dirt to expand the entire farmland over here, but I am even noticing little trails of dirt in that area, so we should be okay. But yes, I do not think that for the moment we're gonna have enough dirt to finish the entire thing, although we might get more than halfway, which I'm a fan of. Oh, and no way, we made our dirt rectangle a little bit too big, but 32 dirt, this might be enough to get us as far as we can. And no, I personally do not care about making it symmetrical. And with 1 dirt block left over, maybe 2 with that one over there, our farm area is looking good, although we are not yet done with the infrastructure, which we can start to get going by smelting up some cobblestone. And then I'm gonna munch on some fish and clear our inventory a little bit as well. And we should make some new stone tools too, I think, before heading back down to hopefully find ourselves some iron. I must say, it is quite refreshing when you don't hear the rain pounding above your head. For this episode, just like last episode, I'm gonna be responding to one of your questions, which if you would ever like for me to respond to your question in a video, you're more than welcome to leave it in the comments below or to join our Discord, which is always linked in the description below too. And today's comment comes in from Etat, who asks, were you ever hesitant on joining Lotus? I could imagine it was a big step going from single player content creation that scared me to multiplayer. And my, oh my, did that thunder crack absolutely terrify me. For those of you that don't know, the Lotus SMP is a multiplayer Minecraft server where myself and a bunch of other content creators, a bunch of wonderful people who I now get to call my friends, make content together and get to hang out and do things on Minecraft with one another. And the short answer to your comment is yes. I was very hesitant to join Lotus. Not that it was Lotus in particular that made me hesitant, but just playing Minecraft with other people around the world in a way that would kind of push me out of my comfort zone. Now, I am an introvert at heart, and I do think that I am more extroverted than I give myself credit for. But Minecraft for me, and playing video games, even if I'm recording, has always kind of been a self-care activity and more of an introvert recharge the battery sort of activity than it was continue to push myself out of my comfort zone and do hard things, right? Comfort and hard things do not usually coincide with one another. And especially when it came to the first day in Lotus and when it came to accepting the invite, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do because it was a challenge that I knew I was ready for at that point in time, and I wanted to see where it could go. But man, there goes another one. But at the same time, I had always wanted to play Minecraft and to create videos with a lot of the people that are on Lotus. And nowadays, a lot of the people that I've just gotten to know through doing YouTube. And although I'd always wanted to be connected and really be friends with these people, I have also kind of like admired them and looked up to a lot of the people that I get to consider friends nowadays. And so actually wanting to make a good first impression and also kind of see for myself if the personality that comes from within that I get to show through playing Minecraft and through speaking and sharing who I am on the microphone, if that really still existed in the same way as when I get to curtail it and make my vibe and flow and all of the different things in my video exactly how I want it to be through the editing process, right? And we have even more dirt, which is a big win. But yeah, I was definitely very hesitant and with some weird cave stones as well and some redstones. Please tell me that you could hear that. I mean, come on, I can't be alone, and it's definitely a little bit sketchy as well. But we can't get this guy yet because we still don't have any iron. We haven't run into any yet. Actually, just kidding. We have one piece of raw iron here. So I think down will continue to mine for the moment. But so when it came to the day one of Lotus back in July, and I'd never met any of these people. I had no inside connections. It was my first time recording and kind of showing off my inner self that does this nerdy Minecraft thing with other people that all of them, all 27 of us, the first day were getting to know each other with the record button on, which is, I think, stressful and intimidating for most people. And so knowing that that was going to be the case and that was going to be a big day, I really had to make sure that we have a cave here too. I think it's a lush cave as well. A lush cave with the zombie down here. Hey, I can definitely work on that. Just want to be careful. Maybe a mine shaft down there too. Okay, we're in business here. I can work with that. I think we'll place down a couple torches just to make it safe. And then I say we might call it now after grabbing as much iron as we can, of course, which does happen to be 3. And it looks like we have at least 3 more pieces of iron right there. So yeah, let's continue to the surface and we can make our first iron pickaxe too. But the interesting experience for me in particular, and I know not everyone has the same experience, but my experience upon joining Lotus after the first day or two of jitters had worn off, and I got to exist in other people's Minecraft worlds for the first time and see everything that they were doing, I was just so blown away. At first I was intimidated. I was like, man, everyone is so much better than me. And then I was like, whoa, it's so cool that I get to contribute and be a part of this and make this into something as well. And look how far I've come. And I started to bank on myself a little bit too. And then once again, the first couple of day jitters ended up wearing off. And I opened myself up to connection with the other people that I had signed up on the server to connect with, and was open to friendship. And as soon as I opened myself up to the risk and the challenge and the opportunity that came with all of it, then I was rewarded with all of it. And I wouldn't ever take that back. So many so many people in my life that I now consider friends, and then so many friends of their friends that are now my friends. We're all friends, and I never would have had that connection. I never would have been so in the loop and friendly and well known and respected, and all of the different things that make me proud to be who I am as a YouTuber. A lot of that came from allowing myself to push myself and to open myself up to joining Lotus and to playing with other people. But yeah, now I actively look for it, and it's still definitely a challenge for me. It's easier for me to record and not have to worry about anything when it's just me and the microphone. But it's better for me, and it makes playing Minecraft and experiencing this beautiful game way more enjoyable than I ever would have imagined if I hadn't opened myself up to trying to play with other people. But as you can see here, we are making some pretty good progress on reharvesting some wood, of course, and we'll get to smelting a bit more cobblestone along with making a couple more stone pickaxes too, where we might as well finish off felling these trees. But joining Lotus and just joining a group of other people that make videos and play the same game as you, and you guys get to make videos together and play the game together, it has way more benefits than I ever would have thought when I was just a viewer of an SMP. And it doesn't mean that being one is going to make you famous or super spike your numbers, and it can definitely help with both. But what it really does is that everyone else that has friends that also love doing the thing and are creating videos and are inspired and like to see and other people that they can be friends with and respect and, you know, collaborate with and that sort of thing. You instantly kind of just get linked into all of these people that all know one another. But best thing about it that I've been able to experience is that they all just everyone wants to know everyone and be friends with everyone. Like, I don't know, as now that I'm getting to be a bigger YouTuber, and I'm not a big YouTuber by any means, it doesn't matter to me your size. You know, you can just see what people are doing and see the effort and intentionality. And also, even if, you know, you're not perfect at the content creation skill aspect side of it, there's a lot of people within the community that are just really good people, that are just really good personalities and are indispensable, priceless parts of the community. And I never would have been as much of a part of it now if I hadn't been able to push myself and join Lotus. So anyway, for the time being, we are going to place down some saplings so that we can get some even more tree production going on here. Although I do think that we'll keep it along the rows and columns for the moment. Now we'll go around to grab our stone, maybe even smelt up a little bit more, and then smelt up our iron in here. I do think that I'm gonna run back here and grab this iron. We have 4 pieces, 5 pieces. Oh, that's wonderful. And so now we'll be able to make ourselves a stone cutter, which we'll do just like so. And then we'll make some stone slabs along with some stone brick slabs and some cobblestone slabs as well. And then just randomly, we're gonna go along the top because eventually this will be an area where we have some crop fields. And I really don't think too much while I'm doing this. Sometimes I go 2, sometimes I go 1, sometimes I go 3. And just mix up the blocks as much as I can. Although it might be important to light up this area. It's pretty big as well. And I do not want any mobs coming until we get ourselves some iron armor. And so, just like so, we'll continue along with detailing the outer edge of our farmland. And I am curious, if you're watching this video, do you personally play with or without shaders? I know that for myself personally, there's something that is just really enjoyable about playing with shaders. I mean, the moon looks so beautiful. All of the saplings just have so much more life to them, in my personal opinion. Everything has a little bit of extra flair. So I'd be curious, what are your own thoughts about playing with shaders? Are you against it? Do you wish that you could play with shaders if you had a PC or a console that could run them, or yeah, are you all about them just like myself? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And just like that, we're already, didn't mean to put that one down there, just about already out of slabs, but I think that we'll go back to the furnace and get even more smelting. So we can take some of you, put some of you in there, and then light up even more of you. And then we can collect 5 more iron ingots, bringing us up to 7. But this will allow me to create my first shield and first ever iron pickaxe. And now we'll get back around to layering in our stones over the water. I must say that doing these sorts of playthroughs are such a fun way to switch it up and play Minecraft. They're a great way for me to avoid burnout and to keep the game feeling new. I think many of us can probably relate to the feeling of wanting to get something done in Minecraft, but maybe lacking the willpower or the motivation just because it can be such a grind, right? But if you, just like as Flip would say, if you have plenty of things to do in your Minecraft world and you give yourself the ability to switch up the things that you're doing, I think that it always allows you to have passion and desire to actually make those ideas happen in Minecraft, or at least that's the experience for me. But I also will say that making videos is also enough of a invigorator in itself as well, whether it be you looking back at your videos and being like, wow, like I'm so happy and proud that I put in the time and made the effort and was dedicated in order to make this happen. Or oh no, there's a zombie coming, and there's a zombie coming. Okay, take out our shield, be ready to go. Monster Hunter, technically. Although we know not technically, but it looks like we are just about to run out of our stone blocks as well. Straight there. And so we can hop into Cheaty Cam, and not a bad start so far. I say that we can punch down some more sugarcane as we continue through the night here. But I'd love to know if you are coming over from my main channel and you're used to the main channel, the cinematic content, as opposed to a playthrough that's a little bit more talkative, and I bring you through the experience and we kind of live moment to moment together. What are your thoughts on this sort of style? I have really been enjoying doing it, I gotta say. It's a little bit more of a challenge for me, but as a reward, it's more rewarding, I guess you could say, for me, as we plant down even more sugarcane and the sun starts to rise. It's more rewarding for me. Looks like, sure, we have good things and scary things over here as well. I think we'll get rid of these guys too. I have no use for you at the moment. Although in my last 100 days, I had probably 5 different people make comments that were like, I did not know how aggravated I get by people throwing out materials. And I don't usually throw out materials, but it's just the ones that you don't really need. But man, there were a couple people that got really, really mad about it. But I do think that we're going to take even more dirt out and now start to pillar off in this direction away from the farm area, more perpendicular in this way, because eventually we'll be having this path lead off on over to the mob farm. But at least right now it's going to be a platform just way on out here where we can just have mobs and have them out of our spawn distance, and then when we need to and we have some more iron armor, we can go and slay them for some initial drops. I think that we'll maybe go another 20 blocks or so, and then I think just about from there should do it. We can come back in on the other side now, which I feel like if you can actually place down blocks like this, which maybe I'm getting better, you are such a pro at building, and there goes the hour timer, but I'm gonna add another 5 minutes because this guy went to the bathroom in the middle of recording. But we can finish off the path in the land right here, and then we'll head back on over to our crafting area, head into our stone cutter, and make even more cobblestone slabs. I think that we're gonna go out 5 on either end. And then, of course, we're going to continue on back until maybe just about here. I feel like that should be okay, where we'll continue on over off to the side and then bring it around to the back, which now we have an even rectangle. But just to be precautious, I think that I want to already place down some torches so that no mobs spawn in this area here. But now, with the time that we have left, we're going to come in with our cobblestone slabs and try as much as we can to fill in the area. I feel like for me personally, oftentimes it's easy enough to just go in 2 at a time like this, and you can kind of just go left to right, and fill in the area pretty quickly. But unfortunately, there goes the timer for hour 2 here in our island. We've gotten a good amount of progress done, honestly. It may not look pretty, it may not look as much like an island as it used to, but it is our island, and as they say, sometimes things have to look a little bit uglier before they get to looking prettier. Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, but our island is definitely in its ugly phase. We have the nasty beginnings of our farm right over here, and an ugly expansion pathway to our mob farm, which I haven't even completed yet, which is what I think I'm gonna do to start off our 3rd hour here in this island. So we can continue to smelt away some cobblestone into stone, and we'll take this too, and then we'll make some stone slabs, and some stone brick slabs as well. And while we have daylight, I say, why don't we continue to expand the covering to our farm area? If I'm being honest, I'm not exactly sure why we're doing this, but I do just want this area to eventually look good. And as this is an iteration of the Comment of the Day series, I really have no intention of ending this series whatsoever. So we'll have to see how many hours we can last on this island, which honestly sounds really exciting for me. So if you're excited to see how this island might change over time, and if I can make it pretty, consider leaving a like on the video. And it is worth mentioning that this area is not for trees, although we do happen to have some growing over here. It's just so that we can get some extra wood. The purpose of covering this area with slabs and having these long lines is, as you may have guessed, to put sugarcane in this area. And then maybe also we have our farm over here, so maybe eventually taking our wheat and putting it in over here too. I do, however, have a feeling that we're gonna run out of blocks once again, so we're gonna have to go mining, but that is okay. I definitely want to be getting ourselves some iron this episode if possible. And in my opinion, any progress that we're able to get done here for the early game is gonna be a good thing. But it looks like we are out of our normal stone blocks, so I think we might hold off for the moment, and we have our first wandering trader showing up too, and he has a sapling trade and a pointed dripstone trade, which is exactly what we need. But I don't have any emeralds yet. You, sir, are breaking my heart at the moment. There's really nothing that we can do whatsoever. Although I must say, these guys kind of deal some damage when you don't have any armor on. You are gonna have to go as well. And we got our first piece of leather from that as well. So I'm gonna chalk that up as a win. And I think that we'll go to reharvest some of our sugarcane around here as the sun begins to set. I do think that having some crops in this area is gonna make it look a whole ton better. But honestly, I feel like I really don't like having these trees as well. So we're gonna start to get rid of them. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure what we'll be able to use some leads for, but I'm sure we'll think of something. It really means that we need to make our mob farm over here and be able to get ourselves some drops and hopefully a zombie villager too. And it'll also mean that we'll be able to get ourselves enough string to make some wool and make a bed so we can sleep during the night as well. But we have a little bit more stone so we can get a little bit more work done. And yeah, the more that I think about it, I'd rather not have trees here and kind of just keep it prettier with the farmland. But I know that just generally speaking, this place is not looking too hot, and I think that part of the reasons as well is that when many people build in Skyblock or on an island, they usually work in circles, and eventually I want to get there, but I personally have no idea how to build in circles still, so I think that will be part of the building challenge for the series as well. I'd love to know if any of you get so worked up when you end up missing a block like that, and then you have to kind of stop the flow and then break down the block once again. But we are going to have just short of enough blocks for us to be able to do the detailing and cover the entire farmland, which is okay with me. I think that we're going to hit the mines because we have a whole hour to get that done. I do also happen to have a spider following us, but I don't know how comfortable I feel. Maybe if we take him on in the water, we might have some more success here. So we'll just go little bit by little bit, and I really do hope that he is able to drop us some string, and 2 pieces at that, meaning that we'll be able to make ourselves either a bow and arrow or a first fishing rod, which, just kidding, we would need 1 more piece of string in order to get the bow and arrow. So I think that I'm going to do the fishing rod. We can also harvest our crops real quick, and then I'm going to start to putting down our farmland right here. I don't usually place my crops down in vertical columns like this, but I guess I just wanted to this time. But we can also get to punching down our sugarcane and do it all around the island. We have plenty to harvest, and with more than a stack in hand, and with the sun rising, we can continue to place it down into the ground. I do definitely still want to check out this underwater monument that we have over here, but at first I still want iron armor. And things are taking longer than I had expected to get geared up, or maybe just as long as I had expected, but still, it's taking a long time. And with a couple of rows of sugar cane down and some wheat over here, I would say that our job is good to go for the moment. We do need to hit the mines, but first, we still have a little bit of durability left in our stone pickaxe, so I'm going to try to collect as much wood as we can for the moment. And for those of you that are wondering, this is my gigantic monorail because this playthrough is taking place in my survival world. So although things are fresh in this island on this playthrough, we are still in a world that I've played in before, which is what explains the 65 levels that I have in my toolbar, which is kind of funny. I explained that back in episode 1, and then in the comments section on episode 1, someone was like, "You have 45 levels, you cheater." I was like, no, I explained it. The reason being, and I've explained this one before, is that I want to be able to come back to this world, an island, and be able to see it, as opposed to just leave this island when I'm done with it. And that, along with the fact that this is the Comment of the Day series, is gonna extend the longevity of this playthrough too, which is exciting to see how much progress we can get done on the island. And I must say, I am having a total blast doing this playthrough so far. If this episode is your first episode in this series, I definitely recommend taking a look at the other things that we have on the channel, whether it be the old Comment of the Day episodes or these new ones that we have on the island in particular, so that you can get caught up with all of the progress that we've made now that we're here on hour 3. As we are still punching down trees with our bare hands, but our crops are already starting to grow, which is a good sign. And so I'll place away the miscellaneous things that we don't need. I think make some torches as well. And now it's time for us to head back down into the mines and hopefully actually be able to get ourselves some iron. Although having a shield in hand is definitely a good feeling on this end. And so we are right over, I think, a pretty giant lush cave, and we have an axolotl hanging out over there. So I'm gonna start to dig to the side and kind of dig down and see if we can make ourselves any progress here. It does look like we are smack dab right on top, right overhead the cave, so not much success so far. We're gonna have to try to figure something out here. But man, golly, every single time I forget how long it takes to mine out anything with a stone pickaxe. This is just mind-numbing. I'm so excited to just get down into the caves and see what happens, but we have to just go block by block in order to get close enough safely. And now it looks like we're just gonna pillar on over in order to get closer to the wall. I swear, this was not the way that I was expecting to get our first little bit of iron for iron gear in this world. But here we are with our pinky on the crouch button, just making sure that we can be safe here. However, the good news is that we're gonna get glowberries and all of the different tons of clay and lots of moss, all the different things that we can get in the lush cave, which honestly, these are going to be very fun blocks to be able to work with on this island. And just like that, we'll stumble into our first pieces of moss. and actually of my entire survival world too. That's exciting. However, I must say that there are many mobs down here, so we're gonna have to be careful at the same time. And just like that, we can peep our head out at the lush cave with plenty of axolotls over there. But we also have 3 skeletons right here and a zombie man right here just trying to kill us. So I think that I'm just gonna try to dig around and find a safer spot to exit, or at the very least we can start to light up the area a little bit, and then we'll come back at a later point. So I'll call that good for now, and I think that we'll head back on up to the surface because we have stone that we can use to extend our pathway once again. Okay, my heart rate just spiked right there, but not bad progress, I would say. But actually, we really still don't have enough stone, and we're running out of durability on our iron pickaxe, so we'll probably make another stone one right here, but we are on Y level 16, which I believe is the best Y level to try to get some iron. So why don't we try to get 2 birds stoned at once here? And I'm not sure why, but we're finding plenty of diorite in this playthrough as well. And it's making me think maybe I want to do diorite as some part of our build palette. And I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be building yet, and if we'll have enough time in this 1 hour, but eventually we will be, and diorite could be kind of fun to use. And there we have it, finally, a little bit more iron. We can try to see how many pieces we get. That's 2 and 3, and we have 4. I see 5, 2. Man, I really was starting to feel kind of desperate out here, but I think that we'll keep on going just to make this area look symmetrical, and hopefully we can find some more iron while we're at it too. I do honestly find it funny that this is almost a better way for me so far of finding iron than trying to go deep into the caves. I mean, it's not that I really have any problem dying, but I really just don't want to in this playthrough. It's such a setback. And so being able to take it slow and just work to find iron this way is okay in my books. And so I guess I hope that it's okay in your book too. All right. And so with this mini area cleared out, we are much more material rich, but we are only a little bit more iron rich. I do think that for the time being, we'll probably make ourselves our first iron piece of gear, which will probably make a helmet. Although there is definitely a big part of me as well that would like to have an iron axe so that we could chop wood down a little bit more efficiently. But we'll get down to smelting up that iron, and then we'll smelt up some more cobblestone as well. I'm gonna make 2 more stone axes, and I think that we'll continue to chop away at the trees while we have daylight. It does look like I must have missed 1 log or so. Yep, there it is right here, and I bet then after that the entire tree will come down, or at least I hope it will. I hate working with those massive oak trees, and it looks like I feel like I'm still missing 1 more block from up here. I guess we'll have to pillar on up with the diorite and start to just mash around, and there we have it, the 1 log that got away. But I must say, it is a good feeling to have the island pretty much entirely cleared, although we're gonna have to fill it back up because we still need plenty of wood and we don't have a lot of space here. But we have run out of hunger, so we'll eat up some cod, and then we can get around to replanting the saplings back down onto the ground. Now we can take our iron and we'll get to making our first iron helmet, which, wow, with 1 chest plate filled on our armor bar, I feel so much safer. But although we've been steadily making infrastructure for our island, we haven't really made anything semi-pretty yet, and so I think that I'm gonna get around to changing that now. You see, we just got our first fishing rod, and I think it would be fun to make a fishing dock. These are always some of my favorite designs to make in Minecraft, and they're really easy to do as well. Usually to start with, I just come on in and strip some logs, and usually working with odd numbers, whether it be 3, 5, 7, is a good way to start. I do think we'll actually maybe extend it 2 more, just like that, and we'll strip these guys as well. And then along in the middle, just like so, we can come in with really any slabs that we want. And then super simply, we can just come in with our oak trapdoors, and we have a good start. I can place some fences here where eventually we'll get around to placing a lantern, but we of course just don't happen to have that for now. And then I can kind of just come in and place some barrels right here, which will add some extra just texture and height variation and decoration to the area. I personally also kind of like to line my trapdoors and maybe place some on top as well. I think it kind of just makes it a little bit more fun looking. And then it can be kind of nice along the outer layer to come in with some trapdoors just to provide an kind of outcropping for where boats would come in. For me personally, I kind of like to extend it along the entire outer edge, and maybe to be extra special, we can place a trapdoor on top, just like so. I do think that we're gonna have to take some of our logs and start to make some charcoal once again, which is definitely a bummer having to use some of our hard work just to have fuel and a light source. But now we can cast our fishing rod into the sea, and hopefully we have a pretty good harvest. And our first ever one, we get a name tag. No way, our first catch, we get a name tag. Talk about lucky. But I do think that this is a good time to go into this episode's comment of the day, who comes from Throwlash. And Throwlash is a wonderful content creator and a good buddy of mine. And he asks, I missed the deadline, which you didn't, but do you have any culinary related skills? I just got a sourdough starter going and I'm super nervous and excited about it. Now, by no means would I consider myself to be a chef, but I definitely am someone that really enjoys to cook, and I pretty much exclusively eat my own cooking. I do think that I'm kind of weird in the fact that I personally really like to enjoy food with other people. So I don't usually eat out by myself or do fast food or... Man, this is a survival world, y'all, and we are almost on day 900, and we just got the fishy business achievement. That's so funny. But I love to cook. I wouldn't say I'm the best cook in the world, but I have some pretty good recipes, I would say. And most importantly for me, I am quite proud of my ability on the grill. I pretty much grill up hamburgers every single weekend. Many people that know me know that that is a ritual. It's a routine that I do. And I oftentimes live stream when it's warmer and kind of do both. And I make some really good bison burgers, and whether it be a tri-tip steak or just some chicken or whatever it be, put me behind the grill and I'm usually pretty successful, you could say. But when it comes to baking or other special dishes or anything like that, no, I definitely do a lot of like power bowls with like, rice and chicken and beans and mess around with, lots of just different kind of like little healthier food meals. And it works out for me. I make a homemade ice cream every single night that is very healthy. And I'd be happy to get you the recipe, or any of you guys that are looking to lose weight but still want to be able to have a sweet treat every single night. That's a recipe that I've taken. It's not my own, but I've refined it and made it really good. And so I'm able to stay at a healthy body weight while at the same time being able to indulge and have some treats every single night. So I would say those are the major extent of my culinary skills, and I'd love to know how the sourdough is coming out. I know that I think the first round was a little bit difficult based on what you told me in Discord, but I think that's a very fun hobby, and it is now 2025. It is the new year, so why not try to adopt a new hobby and a new skill, right? But I must say, I am already starting to grow to love this cutesy, quaintsy little island that we have here. I feel like as soon as I start to put a build in the area, everything kind of turns around and I start to see the place as my own. I can't believe we already got a name tag, but that's going to be very helpful for us when it comes to doing some villager trading and maybe iron farm stuff down the line. Right now, I am strictly kind of just looking for leather, though. It would be very big to help us get some early game books, or who knows, I don't know the chances, but I do feel like it's possible to fish up an emerald as well. I could be wrong when it comes down to it, but we really would luck out. I really am curious to know, what are you thinking of these episodes where I'm kind of just placing an hour-long timer and treating it like a let's play, but also like the comment of the day video? I don't know, I feel like it might be it's a very immersive comment way to do a comment of the day video, but it also allows for me to get some progress done with you all and have some replayability, and also throw some new cinematics in there for you all on the second channel here. if you're brand new here, yeah, I got a main channel with many more cinematics, but this is much more low key and kind of just chill out and relax with you all and get some progress done and see what happens to this island over time. And just, 2.5 or however long, almost, I guess 3 hours in, three something hours. We really are starting to get there, although we still only have our iron helmet here. And it's also interesting for me, I feel like more and more so nowadays, I haven't been filming anything that has to do with like mining or has to do with the nether. And it's not strictly because I just don't like recording in there and I'd rather kind of just focus up, but it also has to do with the fact that it's a lot harder to get good quality footage, I think, when you are working with low lighting conditions in the caves. But unfortunately, I do hear the timer. That is the end of hour number 3. Let's see what we get for our last catch over here. And just a cod, it's going to be 3 hours in, and we're definitely starting to get somewhere on this cutesy little island that we have. We'll probably start making more progress towards the mob spawner in the next one, but thank you so much for taking some of your time and seeing what we can get done in this island here. And I will get back to work and I will see you very, very soon. I must say, I feel pretty good about hour 4 on our little survival island. We have now got a fishing rod, which will hopefully give us something good, maybe even an emerald, but hopefully some leather and some enchanted books as well. Along with fishing rods, also have a chance of pulling up other fishing rods that have wonderful enchantments on them. Enchantments like mending and unbreaking, but also luck of the sea, which would then help us get even better gear. Although it seems to be that we can kind of save fishing for a night activity because we haven't been attacked by too many mobs yet, which will probably change this episode because my plan is to get iron gear by the end of the hour. So it seems to me that we might be spending a lot of time in the caves. But first, we're going to get along to texturing up our mob pillar platform. So I'm going to make some stone brick slabs and then some stone slabs as well. And then maybe some more cobblestone slabs just for good measure. But now we'll head on over to our mob platform, and with our remaining daylight, we'll get around to start to texture around the platform, which I am noticing we may not need too many cobblestone slabs at the moment, but just messing around randomly with some stones and some stone bricks can make a huge difference in how your area works, whether it be skyblock or an island just like this. So I try to texture up these areas even in these challenge worlds as soon as I can, and that way we always have something pretty cool and pretty pretty to look at. And I have found when texturing in this sort of way, it's easy to kind of go in a circle inside out in a wheel until we get to the middle, because that way you can focus on the texture design and you don't really have to think too much about going in and filling up everything layer by layer or row by row. And especially when you're working on the water just like this, it can be incredibly helpful too. But I must say, although it's nothing special, and I've mentioned this many times, when you're using shaders in a Minecraft world, even something so simple, just like this stone platform, can be so pretty in the world. I came up with this idea to do this commentary sort of Let's Play Island Challenge playthrough by the hour, maybe a couple days or so ago, and it's a really fun way for me to just get to play the game, along with to be able to connect with you all. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. The moon is so pretty when you use complementary reimagined shaders in Minecraft, and even on this platform with the sugarcane and the lighting in the distance, I just feel lucky here. But I must say that this texture paving work gets easier and easier the lower down or the less blocks that you have left to go, which is wonderful. But this is the last stone brick that I have to my name, and I'm not sure if I even have enough stone bricks to make it go or to make it work. And it seems like no, with just only 3 stone bricks left to go, that's gonna be all we can fill in at the moment. But looking in from above, you can see how much of a difference that makes in the platform. And there really isn't too much rhyme or reason to the process as well. Hopefully me commentating and showing you how I'm doing it while I'm doing it has shown you that. But I think that we'll head back over to the island where we can harvest our sugarcane, which, man, we have a whole ton now. Look at us go. I think that we now have more than enough for our enchanting needs. That's actually crazy, but we can continue down and at least finish off this row with sugarcane. And then it looks like we have plenty of wheat to harvest as well, which I'll get around to doing now. And then, of course, placing the seeds all back down where we can actually start to go into the next layer here. And we'll have to see if 27 wheat seeds is enough to get us all the way down the row, which no, it seems like we were able to get about 3/4 of the way there. But I must say, we are looking quite good when it comes to the food and to the paper situation as well. But I don't really think that it's worth going into the mines tonight because the moon is already close to setting. So I think that we'll go and we'll place away our sugar cane and some raw fish as well. And then we'll get around to felling some trees before the sun comes up. While I'm chopping down these guys, I do also think that I want to get rid of the sugarcane that we now have lining the outer perimeter, because I feel like it's a thing that I have in so many of my worlds, but now that we have a farm over here, it's not really worth just keeping. And when it's all 3 tall just like that, I think that it starts to kind of look ugly. So we'll get to doing it in a second, but for right now, we'll get around to chopping this tree. Although I must say our monorail, as the sun comes up and the stars start to fade in the distance, it looks so cool with the arches that we have in the background. I really do have so many cool things planned and coming and just already made in the world. So I highly recommend you taking a look at Slip Survival World, the playlist on my main channel. But I say that we continue to fell these trees until we run out of these stone axes, which definitely feels like a chore for me to do at the moment. We need to get iron gear and iron tools as soon as we can, because the amount of time that this takes when you're used to playing on an SMP, when you have a beacon and unlimited enchanted gear, it's just so time consuming. I mean, I know the whole point is to see what happens hour by hour in this world, but still, at first, this is taking forever. So with another stack and a half of oak logs in hand, we'll start placing back down the saplings. And now I think that we'll get around to punching down all of the sugar cane in the entire perimeter of the island, which may look barren for a little bit of time, but I think that's okay with me, because I think that it's time to rip off the band-aid and start preparing this area for some actual builds. So down goes the sugar cane, and then it looks like we'll have to eat some fish. Once again, we are completely out of hunger. And then I think that we'll start to craft this sugar cane into paper, because if I'm being honest with you, my inventory is already starting to get full, which I do recognize that it's only 2 chests, 2 furnaces, a crafting table, and a barrel. But still, we're actually starting to get a decent amount of materials. But as I go to fish, it actually starts to rain. It is perfect timing, I think. So we'll cast out our rod, and hopefully we can find something good. And it looks like just a fish for the first catch, another fish, a cod for the second catch, and then it looks like another cod for the third catch, which it looks like 0 for 3 when it comes to getting some really good enchanted items. But I must say that there really is something very satisfying about fishing. It kind of just lets you sit back and breathe for a moment, enjoy everything that you've been able to do in your Minecraft world. And I must say that being on this island, along with being in my forever world, I'm very proud of everything that we've been able to do so far. If you've been enjoying everything that we've been doing as well, consider leaving a like on the video, and if you're new here, take a look at where we started from. This is our 4th hour on this island, and from where we've started, we've come quite a long ways for just a couple of hours. And the funny thing is that getting fish would be a good source of getting experience as well. But as many of you all know, since this is my forever world, what did we get? Oh, we got a tripwire hook. But since this is my forever world, XP is one of the things that I have to sacrifice in doing this playthrough. But besides that, we are completely starting fresh in this world, which does bring up something kind of interesting. I saw a video this morning that was like talking about the pros and cons of being in a forever world. And for me personally, I've really been enjoying having a forever world in the aspect that it's a world that you always have something to go back to. You can play other playthroughs, you can even do other things in your world, just like I'm doing myself. But at the end of the day, it's up to you on how often you play your forever world, and you can always come back to it. And there's a nostalgic feeling about that, I believe. But there are also cons to it, in that you grow as a person and as a Minecraft builder, and there's a feeling of already having infrastructure in your world, I believe, that will dissuade you from wanting to go back to that world if you haven't played it in a long time. For me, I am being very intentional right now, knowing that, and then being able to expand and do different kingdoms. And you can always go to a new place and start afresh in a forever world. But if you do want to use it, you may eventually have builds and just different little things. For me, even this island, and eventually we'll be making a mob spawner. And it just might not look that great at the end of the day, right? And so then you could come back to the world and not be okay with it. But for me personally, it's not something I'm worried about too much, just because I have so many different projects and ideas for things that I can do in this world. And then also because I get to play on the Lotus SMP, and so I get to split my projects up. And yeah, who knows, maybe 5 years from now I'll have a different opinion on all of it. But for this, at this very moment in time, I'm very happy to have this survival world that I've been working on for the last couple of months, but B, to be also able to do these challenge videos and do other fun little things on a world that I'll always have. But I do think that we'll catch one more fish, and then we'll head underground, which you can clearly see I'm procrastinating. And so with one more cod in hand, we'll head back down after maybe putting away some of our materials. And I must say, we definitely have to do something to make this area right here look better, if we're going to keep using it at the very least. But as I said last episode, it is definitely a relaxing feeling not having to have the rain over your head. And I was considering just continuing to branch mine, which is something that I actually might do at the moment. Not because we can't go down, but it might be nice to just get our iron armor at first, and also because we need lots of cobblestone in order to make our mob XP grinder. So I say, why don't we start on with collecting some more of this stone and hopefully finding ourselves a bit more iron. And just like fishing, I feel like just mining down blocks, even if it's with a stone pickaxe too, and there it goes, it breaks, is still one of my favorite things to do. All of these cathartic activities that we get to do in Minecraft, where you can kind of just focus on the one thing in front of you and let your mind wander, are definitely part of the reason that I play this game. But we'll take out another stone pickaxe and back to mining we go. And there goes another stone pickaxe. Although I am happy to get ourselves some copper, we'll definitely be using it later on. Honestly, part of the good news about this world is that I was worried about not being able to have enough dirt, but we keep stumbling into it, meaning that we'll be able to expand the island as much as we need, which is definitely something that I plan on doing, especially because I don't plan on leaving this island at any point in time soon. We're just going to see how many hours it goes. And I do know that I could, mathematically speaking, be clearing out this area a little bit more efficiently, but at the same time, it might be nice to have some under the ground storage areas, or at the very least some space underground where we can make a farm. So that's my game plan here. So I think that we'll make 3 more stone pickaxes, and then I think try to go 15 blocks down more this way. And then hopefully, just hopefully, we'll be able to find ourselves some iron within this chunk of stone here. Now, while we're mining away, it brings me up to our comment of the day, which actually comes in from myself today. The reason being, I'm recording this episode ahead of time, and so I Just never ended up asking anyone for a question, but I must say, I've really just been enjoying playing in this world, and I wanted to get more progress done, which is a funny thing compared to our normal comment of the days where it's just responding to your questions. This time I get to get things done too. And so our comment of the day that comes in for myself is, who are your Minecraft inspirations? Which, to start off with answering this question, I'm going to get nowhere near in answering all of the people who inspire me when it comes to making Minecraft YouTube videos. But I will say a handful of people that I definitely look up to, and I pretty much always look at their videos as soon as they pop up, even if they're a smaller Minecraft content creator. And so I highly recommend you taking a look at these people, because they're people that inspire me, even regardless of sub count and whatnot, to make the types of things that I do. And just like that, we've caved out and boxed in the area. Now it's time to just start breaking it down. But the first of my inspirations, and one of my very good buddies, goes by the Minecraft YouTube and username of Cobb. And overall, Cobb is just a really wonderful person. He's very laid back and down to earth. He's a good conversationalist, really easy to talk to and connect with, and just overall a really good person. And one thing that is utterly true about his videos is that atmosphere, that energy about him is completely transmitted through them. You can tell the type of person that he is and just his vibe through his videos. And I think from the get-go, his pacing has been representative of who he is, which is what has enabled him to have as much success as he has in a short period of time. And I found him, was very into his content and was just kind of a fanboy of him for a couple of months back in the summer or so. And then I was invited to the Lotus SMP and got to hear who was going to be joining and all of the new members. And to my surprise, Cobb was one of them, and I had never expected it. And so I was very excited and actually kind of nervous to get to connect and become friends with Cobb on the first night of the Lotus SMP. And then we ended up becoming really good buddies, and I'm very thankful for that and thankful for him. But his videos are really high quality, and from the get-go, I've just always liked them and the vibe and energy and cinematics and all of the different things about his content. And another person that I can say all of the exact same things about is my good buddy Etat as well. And someone's gonna have to tell me in the comments, how many stone pickaxes did I break during trying to break out this one cube right here? We actually have our first piece of lapis, which we can take out our iron pickaxe to get, and then we can mine this guy on down. And now, a long way away from here, we can get down to enchanting. Just like Cobb, Etat is just a very good person. Gives out wonderful energy and is kind and charismatic and upbeat. And yeah, just down to earth, which is something that I really like about him. But when it comes to his content creation, he is very methodical and very observant and detail oriented when it comes to his videos. And I think that him and I and Cobb and pretty much all of the people that I'm going to mention right now, I think that we all feed off of one another and build off of one another, but his ability to really take it as slow as he can in order to provide a video and a product of the quality that he does with the attention to detail is something that that was our iron pickaxe. No. Oh, F in the chat for the iron pickaxe. That right there is definitely a total bummer. But yeah, I really just like his energy and the way that he transmits it and conveys it through his videos and his attention to detail and ability to really take it slow as opposed to feel indentured or anything like that, to posting at a certain frequency and as opposed that really focusing on quality to the best of his ability is something that I really respect. We also have a good buddy of mine named Jay Figsy, who is a wonderful storyteller. I highly recommend you taking a look at his series of world building in Westerly, where he himself has created a beautiful story, and then a whole swath of other creators like myself have invested in the story and in Jay Figsy himself. And there's now a Westerly SMP with tons of other YouTubers and other really cool people, wonderful people in the Minecraft community that now are a part of the storyline and the storytelling of everything that's going on in the SMP, which is very cool. But his cinematics and his storytelling has been top notch and has been a massive influence for me over the last 2 or 3 months or so. And he's been really dedicated and is a very thankful person, and once again just gives off really great energy, is a wonderful person to get to know and get to have crossed paths with. And all of these people, as I'm saying, are people that I really love their videos. Like, I'm a fan myself, and I'm very, very thankful and fortunate to get to call them my friends and my buddies as well. A massive inspiration for me and a huge help when it comes to my own quality and ability to do cinematics in particular, but to tell a story has been BH, who, man, I just keep going through these pickaxes. I say, let's go and make 3 more. But BH is maybe one of the masters of doing YouTube cinematics, and I've been very inspired by him over the past year and by his cinematics and by his storytelling. But he also has a great personality and has been doing a lot of community work, doing a lot of work with other content creators, other YouTubers and whatnot. And it has been really cool for him to be doing it, and everything that he's been doing with his projects has been really, really impeccable. Really something to look up to. And I have been, and actually got to do an event with him maybe 2 or 3 weeks back or so now. And so that was very cool. And when I came across him, I was like, A, I love your content. B, how are you doing it? And so I actually ended up asking him and became buddies with that. And we ended up collaborating a couple months ago together on a video with I'm Shrammy 2, and have just been linked in. And just once again, a good friend of mine that has been someone that I looked at their content and was like, whoa, I really like the things that you have going on right here. I'd love to be your friend, but also share the wisdom for me too, if at all possible. And then another big inspiration for me as of recent has been Simply Night, who is a fantastic builder in Minecraft, and once again is very attention to detail oriented and loves doing really big builds. Is a much better builder than I think that I'll ever get to be within this upcoming calendar year, but still can be hard on himself with builds that are 10 times out of my current building league, and does it all in survival Minecraft on a long-term forever world, and is just a really good person and gives off good vibes and is really dedicated. And once again, another buddy of mine. I'm a very lucky person here in this Minecraft sphere. And oh man, there goes another one. You really never know what you're gonna get out of doing something when you start it. And if you've ever considered making a Minecraft YouTube channel and becoming buddies with the people you want to be buddies with and making things that you're proud of, then it's worth starting. And then one other just really good, really big buddy of mine that I'd like to shout out and say that They're a huge inspiration for me as well, and I always watch their videos as soon as they come out. I really love their content, and they're a good friend and a good buddy, and it stinks because this Q&A could go on and on and on, and I could just keep sharing because there's so many people that I'm friends with nowadays that are massive inspirations for me. But I guess I just have to ramble off the top real quick in answer to this question. But my buddy Throwlash, who does a lot of work in Create Mod, is, I don't know, inspiration for me for just like being, I don't know, the best YouTuber that I can be, and being okay with having social anxiety from time to time, or being okay with mental health dips, or being okay with, the best thing that I can every window of opportunity that I can, whether it be every couple of weeks or every week or every 10 days or whatever it be. And yeah, all of these people are YouTubers, and they're, I don't know, I get to call them my friends, my buddies, and I wouldn't have come across any of these people if I hadn't run into their videos and been wowed by it. And so I highly recommend you taking a look at them. And if I forget to put them down in the description, shame me for it. Shame me for it. Hopefully I do happen to remember. But clearly this method is not being successful for us at the moment. So it's a good thing that we now have plenty of cobblestone to our name, but no iron, just a little bit more lapis that we can't even get because we don't have an iron pick over there. So I say that with our head down, we can make our way back to the surface, where we can head into our furnace and get some stone smelting once again. We can put all of the materials that we need back into our chest. We're not going to be needing these for the moment. And then I say, once again, as the sun comes up, we get to harvesting our crops once again, which, man, I have a feeling that this is going to be much more of a doing chores and trying to get ourselves set up sort of video. But at the same time, hopefully there's something that maybe you find insightful or helpful about this. I know that there are so many, I survived 10 hours in Minecraft, or I survived 10 hours or 50 hours or whatever it be, 100 days on whatever biome and whatever place. But it's not like it's all glamorous. Those are a lot of the highlights as well. And especially when it comes to doing a challenge playthrough like this one, there can be a lot of slower moments before you're able to get set up in the way that you want to get set up, or able to do all of the incredible things that you might want to do, which is okay with me. This is not my first 100 days or first challenge playthrough, but this is my first time showing it to you all in this fashion. And so I guess it's just a little bit of a disclaimer, along with I don't know, I hope that you find this playthrough be of benefit. Yeah, not too much building that we're getting done today, just trying to get to a standpoint where the building comes a little bit easier. But I do think that that's also a nice thing about this being part of like the, I don't know, like the comment of the day video as well, because there's also the extra emphasis of responding to you, being able to connect with you all. So if you're still here, hey, I really appreciate you. But if you have a question that you'd like to have featured for our next upcoming comment of the day, these videos right here, this is where I ask you all to do it and put them into the description. And I've been doing comment of the day videos for over 6 months now, if not every week, but every 2 weeks. And I think like 99% of the comments that I get, if I'm being honest with you, are from my Discord, which you're more than welcome to join, Slip Sanctuary. But yeah, you're more than welcome to just leave a comment, and I'll probably answer it based on the odds. So yeah, think about it. Definitely think about it. But we have some good news here, as we can take out our hoe and go into the next layer, the next row of our soil, which of course will take down our seeds, and we'll get to placing them down, and we might actually be able to go into the next column right over here as well. And without a doubt, our stone hoe is going to break. I knew it, and we'll have to make another one, but We'll probably get this whole row right down here completed too. So I say we make 2 more stone hoes and get to tilling the soil once again, where we can once again get around to placing down the seeds. And who would have ever thought we can actually go into this next row as well, but with our last seed placed down just like that. We are unfortunately at the end of the 4th hour in this lovely island here in Minecraft. Definitely not too much on the site progress that we can see besides the platform that we have over there. But that's okay because we have a lot more materials in hand and we're definitely in much better shape in order to get set up for the mid game. No matter what happens, I'm not allowed to leave this island. For 4 hours, 240 minutes, 14,400 seconds, I've been stuck here, steadily making progress towards beating the game. We don't have too much to our name, just some fish, building blocks, and some humble crops. Thankfully, that all begins to change in today's episode. A grand welcome back here to Hour 5 on the Survival Island, where in today's episode, I think that we're going to get some pretty significant progress here done on the island. And by that, I think that we're finally going to be making ourselves a bit of a home here in these wonderful lands on this island that still needs to have a name. For those of you that have been tuning into the series, you'll know that this is my forever world, as you can see by the arches that we have behind me in the distance, meaning that slowly and surely over time, as we continue to make these comment of the day videos where we kind of take it slow and get some extra progress done here on the island, eventually we want to make this place into a real kingdom, which actually it sounds like this happens to be the first step that we're going to be taking today, which is very exciting, by making our first home on this lovely island that we have here. So of course we'll have to start taking out our axe and we'll fell down these trees as the sun already starts to set in the horizon, or actually I guess we have a good amount of time left, which is good. I want to, at least in the day today, as much as we can, as we run out of axes, fell down the trees, and clear out the area, just to make sure that we have all of the wood that I would like to do to decorate the build. But unfortunately, we still have no way of sleeping the night here, so we'll end up going underground mining, and hopefully we'll get ourselves some iron in today's episode. It really is quite imperative to our survival situation because we only have an iron helmet to our name at the moment, and we really have no way of smelting anything besides charcoal, so we're gonna have to get ourselves some coal as well, hopefully. But for whatever reason, I always kind of find it a little bit more difficult to do recording when I'm down mining because it's dark and I think it looks worse, and it's just a little bit more difficult for me personally to make content from. But if you're here for a good episode here on the Survival Island, consider leaving a like on the video. And if you're new here, I definitely recommend taking a look at the series and maybe watching the playlist so you can get caught up. But for today's comment of the day, which I think that I'll save for when we end up hitting the mines, it's actually a very interesting comment to a bit of a self-reflection question that I'm gonna ask myself from the second channel. But once again, we'll leave that for later, and it seems to be a bit of a race against the sun as we chop down these horrible oak trees that maybe are one of the worst trees to fell in Minecraft. You always have to jump up here and find all of the nooks and crannies where the oak logs might be hiding. Although I must say, I feel like it is noticeably easier with shaders, which is fine with me because it's definitely the way I like to play. Which, speaking of, I've actually been using a different sort of shader pack when I've been playing off camera, and I think that for the next series that I'm going to be making, 1000 days in a different kingdom in this world, or maybe just 500, but finding a desert biome in particular, I think that I'm going to use maybe a different type of shaders, which I'll get around to showing you in a following day because it looks really beautiful when it's light outside. So stay tuned in the video for that later, but at the moment we are going to stick with what we have, finish felling our trees, and then we'll head in. Of course, I've already been smelting some stone. It's been a long time since been in here. But we more importantly need to smelt up ourselves some food. So let's put 22 raw cod in here. And unfortunately, I do think for the moment we're gonna have to go around and smelt up some of our oak logs too. But I say I might as well cast my rod into the ocean and maybe get some more experience and catch some more fish while we're at it. Although the more that I think about it and the more that I realize that I don't think mobs will come to the islands, it might actually be a good idea for us to make ourselves our starter house, because 1 hour is not a long time. So I say, why don't we catch some fish for the moment and wait out the night, and then in the following morning we'll get around to building. And I guess we can save the mines for another day, which is definitely not just me procrastinating. Along with, I can't remember if the stone platform that we've been making out there is for a mob farm, which I do think it is. If not, it might be the place where I was originally planning on making my starter home, which I'm still considering, but I don't really know. I feel like it might be nice to build something on the island, which eventually we can take down, of course, but we might as well collect up some sticks and some saplings as well. And I say, why not get around to harvesting our sugarcane too, which in my opinion is one of the loudest block-breaking sounds that we have in the game. And we actually do have a good amount of sugarcane. I think maybe enough actually for us to make an enchanting setup, but the problem happens to be that we still don't have any leather. And so I guess the goal here, the idea, is to somehow find ourselves some gravel and be able to expand the island enough, or maybe move away from it enough, that eventually this area will spawn in with mobs. And actually, it looks like I've happened to miss one tree here too, so we might as well get rid of this guy and then take down that last row of sugarcane, which is gonna give us about a stack and a half of sugarcane. And so we can head back to our furnaces and head inside to take out our charcoal and maybe smelt up some more salmon, along with grab the food that we're going to need for the moment. And then I think that I'm actually going to smelt down another stack of cobblestone because we're going to need it for the build. But I say we can start to organize our materials a little bit here, which then we can maybe place in this barrel for safekeeping at the moment and for organization purposes. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that I think there's one more block that I'm going to really want for this build. That is, if we can get our hands on it easily, and I'm not sure, we're gonna have to check out the mines in order to figure it out. But honestly, I really do think that it would be nice to have some tuff in our starter build. And actually, once again, I'm gonna take even more charcoal as the sun starts to rise in the horizon right here, or actually in the horizon over here, and we can take a look at the beautiful monorail that we've been building over in the Forever world. It really is coming together over time, although at the same time, I have become a much better builder, so I may end up scrapping this design and going for a little bit more of a static looking one. So who knows, we'll get around to figuring it out, and you're more than welcome to take a look at the survival world playlist that we have going on the main channel. But I'm clearly seeing that we're already going to start to run out of our charcoal. We might as well take the stone that we have at the moment, and I think that I'm gonna get around to piecing out this build. I think that we'll make ourselves another axe because we're gonna be stripping a good amount of our oak logs, I think, for the build, along with head back here and make ourselves a stone shovel, because I think that we're going to place our build right here in this beachside area, meaning that we'll have to start to terraform the land in order to make that happen, which has an added win of being able to give us some more dirt, which is an essential block in the playthrough as we've been talking about, and it will also give us an opportunity to cover the floor of our mineshaft entrance, or at least I hope so. And it's funny, I'm really enjoying this playthrough in the fact that I usually I'm using diamond tools with enchantments and making so much more progress in a short period of time, and so it's really nice to just take it slow and see what we can get done in an hour. I think that we'll shave off just a little bit more land just to trim, just like this. And if we hop into cheaty cam, it doesn't look that great at the moment, but I'm sure we'll make it look better over time, and I can't just let it stay like that. So I think that we'll continue to shave in the inner portion of the land like so, because if you know the guy's slip, once I start a terraforming project, it is pretty hard for me to just leave it be, and there definitely is plenty that we can do in order to make this island look beautiful. It's a great palette that we have, and so I think that with a dirt block here and one more dirt block here, that will be good to go for the moment, along with this area with these dirt blocks that don't have any seeds in them. They have to go, and I think along with the sand line as well. And so I think that we might be able to leave it just like that at the moment, and then we'll layer up a couple of more spots of dirt like that, and maybe we'll get around to extending, I think. Make it a little bit easier for us to traverse in the middle here, where we can now come around in this direction and start figuring out how we want to make this build. I think I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then maybe even 9 right here. And then on this side, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I believe, which will give us a nice rectangle for us to work with. And now that we have a general infrastructure, I think I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, and 5 up. It's always good to work with odd numbers when you're building in Minecraft, which we can start to crouch our way over here and extend with some wooden pillars, and then rinse and repeat until we have a banner line outlining the entire edge of the build. And so we can finish this guy off, and then we'll take out our stone axe and we'll start to strip everything just to give us an idea of what we're working for, which means we'll have to drop down this way and do the same thing, which of course is going to break our axe, but I actually like the beginning idea of what we have going on here. Although at the same time, I'm getting an idea that it would be really nice actually to have some stairs that are leading up to the edge of our build and maybe giving it 2 floors. So I'm actually going to head back up to the top where I can start placing in my oak stairs right here, which is going to give us 2 blocks of space to work with on the edge of the build. And then slowly but surely, I'm just going to come so back and forth and figure out what the staircase ends up looking like. And of course, you're going to make some mistakes every once in a while when you're placing these stairs, but generally speaking, you go for the bottom on that end, and then you go for the relatively speaking top on this end, and then just continue to do that, and eventually you'll have something that ends up looking pretty good, although it can be difficult when we get to this area here. So I think that we'll have to go down a block, and then we can come down with our stairs. And then just like so, we have a pretty decent starting staircase, while the sun begins to set unfortunately, which is a good reminder that we might start to put some torches around the area just so that you can see better and so that I have more of a decent workspace to build with. I do think that a nice thing to do with this build would be to come in with some of these barrels and have them on the bottom post, because doing so really gives some extra light and some extra texture to the build. And as we put the last one down and take a step back, you can already get a feeling of what I'm talking about. But now that we have our beginnings established, I'm going to start to work on our roof line, where I'm going to extend a block out on each corner of the corner block. And what this is going to enable for us to do is to have a bit of a roof overhang, which is an essential thing for so many builds, unless you want it to be more like a city building or for it to be more straight without the overhang, of course. But if you're a new builder or if you're looking for some new designs to work with, I highly recommend taking a look at this style, which is a style that I've done so many times now that I can really rinse and repeat, or at least I wish that I could say that I am, because I just placed down the first block wrong. But we'll go with a top facing down stair just like that, and then we'll come up with an up facing stair like so, and then we'll kind of just rinse and repeat with a top facing stair and a bottom facing stair, and we'll do it like so until we get ourselves to the midline, where we can scramble around to this area here and continue to do the same thing on the side. And as you can see, I'm just working with other blocks and going 2s and 3s and kind of just figuring it out until I get to the middle, where I can take out the middle block right here, and I'll go in with a cobblestone stair on the top right corner, and then I'll turn around to face the build just like this, and I'll place an normal facing stair and then do a top down facing stair like so. And so if we take a step back, it gives just a nice little easy looking build and enables for us to go up and down and up and down and one more time up, in order to give ourselves that extra layer where we can continue to do so as a trim on the roof line here. And when I used to do this, I think that I used to do it so methodically, and eventually I think that you get more of a touch for it, but it really doesn't matter. If you just switch up the blocks and just texture and figure it out, it's going to bring your build to life. But of course, we'll have to get even more of our stone because we're going through it quickly. And I am just realizing that we had a stone cutter the whole time. I'm not surprised. I had thought that I had had one, but this is going to make our life a whole more ton efficient. Not only is it going to allow us to finish off our roof line like so, but it's going to allow us to use the inner block that we have for our roof line, which is a block that I'm very excited to have for a roof in the kingdom here, but for the time being, we'll continue to texture each inner part of the build here and do the same on this end, which is going to give us something really nice to work with as the sun finally starts to come up in the horizon. Although I am realizing that this build is something that is really nice to explain the thought process of. If you are enjoying it, consider leaving a like in the comments below. But at the same time, we might not get around to our comment of the day for today, but I think that once again, we're going to rinse and repeat and make the same sort of roof line that we have right here. And then on these sides, we're going to switch it up a little bit. But if you're wondering how people get faster at building over time, it really is just doing the same routines. And as anything that you do in life with muscle memory and more exposure to whatever it is, you're just going to get faster at doing it, I think. And it doesn't have to be perfect either, right? And it's not like I always land on the perfect block. Sometimes I'm off-centered and whatnot, but once again, the more that you do it, the better that you just happen to get at it. Now, on these two sides right here, there's really only going to be one difference. We'll continue up with an upstair and then the downstair in the same sort of style that we've been doing, but then we'll continue up actually with a block like that, and then we'll place another stair and continue as such. And what this is going to do, sometimes you don't want it to be too steep, is that it's going to add a little bit more of a slope to your build. And so we'll get around to doing the same thing on this side, and then we can take a look at what it ends up looking like. Of course, in the same way, we'll come around and we'll do that stair and this stairs like so on these ends. And what it's going to do is it's going to give that outline on all four corners, which is a fun way to kind of just max in your build. But as you can see, it gives that extra slope, and it's just kind of something that's fun to work with. And we'll once again get around to doing the same thing on the other side until we once again reach our endpoint, where we'll go to the top corner and then come around just like so once again. And as you can see, without any armor, it is very easy for me to take damage as I'm jumping up and down and trying to be as efficient as possible when making the build. So we'll eat some of our cooked cod, and I have a feeling maybe get rid of this part of the staircase right here and maybe extend it on the opposite direction, or maybe even just keep it one staircase tall at the moment and fit it in with some oak trapdoors, as we'll get around to talking about later. But for the time being, this is not too shabby of a start, and I'm going to start to fill in the build a bit. And so we'll once again head into our stone cutter, and I'll take half of the stone blocks that we have here and we'll place them into stone bricks. Along with in this barrel, I think down here we have 27 andesite, which we can use to our name as well. And just like that, in a really not too random fashion, kind of just in a mosaic pattern, we're going to come around with our blocks and come down like so, and eventually you'll get a nice gradient pattern, as you can already start to see. And my piece of advice, as much as you can right here, is to work in a way that you keep textured blocks together as much as possible, so you can see that stone bricks, which have more texture than stone, they can be next to each other, but stone bricks in particular kind of much more need to be near andesite and the cobblestone blocks that we have. And what this ends up doing is it kind of just smoothens everything out, and it makes everything so much more fluid-like. Although it definitely takes a little bit more trial and error and a little bit more time and practice in order to get this design down. And of course, it is much easier when you have more blocks to work with as well. And there's always a little bit of give and take too. Right here we have our andesite blocks and our stone bricks, meaning that the best thing maybe for this right here would be some cobblestone, as you can see. And so we'll continue to do the same. And once again, you get a lot faster at being able to do it as you kind of just progress in your building capability and abilities, meaning that you'll make much more mistakes, and I can really do something like this without thinking too much now. Although you'll always mess around and mix a block every once in a while, and there's always places where you can kind of come in and be like, oh, maybe I can switch up a block for a different one, like so. And then even a third revision where maybe the best block right here would be a stone block, as you can see. And so we'll once again head in, and one thing that you'll notice when I start to do it a little bit more quickly is that I usually start with the most textured blocks and place them together and kind of just rinse and repeat in order to figure out how I can place everything together. And eventually you come up with something that you're pretty happy with and really doesn't even take that at that much thought. And I'm kind of extending the sentence so I can show you this and take a step back, and just like that, without even thinking, we have something pretty decent. Although the more that I take a step back and I look at this build, it could be stone heavy at the moment. We may change our opinions on that as we put our other roof block in the area, but it does make me think that maybe right here we'll come in and we'll place even more oak logs, kind of just to break up the homogeneity of the build that we have going on so far. And actually, as we need one more oak log, it kind of is nice having that extra textured pattern without stripping it. So I might keep that at the moment, but of course we're gonna do the same thing on this end here, meaning that we'll place down our oak logs like so, and then once again this build already is starting to come together, and not even in an hour's time. Although it does make me sad that the sun once again is starting to go away. Come back, please, come back. But this does also mean that it is a dandy time to come around and maybe start thinking about some windows. I think maybe the best place would be right here. And I'm realizing that we still haven't done one wallway right here. So we'll continue to finish this up and maybe get an idea of what we might want to work with for the inside as well. And so in no time, with some stone bricks and all of the bits, we now have a bit of an entrance area as we can finish up right here and right here as well. And we can fill in our area with dirt at the moment. We have to remember that our mine shaft area is right down here. And then once again, come along and make ourselves a window right here. Now on this area here, we're actually going to do something a little bit more interesting, I think. We're going to come around and we'll make an entire another set of walls on the inside just right here in this block area. And I can explain that reason to you in just a moment. I want to give the baseline idea and then I'll explain it after. And so once again, we'll continue to work with our blocks, although you can see that we are once again already is starting to quickly run out of them, which is kind of understandable given the fact that I have not been at all trying to min-max the game, and so we don't have that great of tools for the moment. But we can head over to our fishing dock, and I am so happy that we have some more stone, which we can put into these areas here. And now if we head out to the outer rim, we can see that we'll actually have a place where we can make a really cool archway design now that we've made that inner wall, meaning that I'll once again take out my stairs, and I think that will go 1 and 2 up, and then 1 and then 2 up once again like so. And then on this top block we'll end up placing some stone stairs, and then once we head out like here, we can make ourselves a doorway area and fill in these block areas too. And we have a nice little, I don't know, just archway design, which is actually made better by taking out this stone block here too, and we can place another stair just to give some extra gradient. And then at the same time, I'm also noticing that if I place a sideways facing stair just like that, it's going to give us a little hole where we can take out this wall and it'd be just a nice little outlet area, which I'm going to do the exact same thing with this area right here. And you can kind of tell that that looks really nice, although everything is being obtruded by our staircases. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing on this side right here and place a stair just like so, and then come up to the top and do another stair like so. And now we have something that's just really nice with the gradient. I might actually come down and do another stair like that just to make it a little bit more circular. And we can do the same thing on this end here. And eventually, when we finish the build, it'll look really good, I promise. But given that idea, we'll come around and we'll place a cobblestone stair, and I mean a cobblestone stair in this spot right here. And maybe actually we'll do the same thing where we layer in the roof in these 2 spots just like so. And so we'll come in once again with our stone blocks just like this. And what it's going to do is it's going to make your interior a whole ton smaller, but from the exterior in your build, which, you know, you don't spend that much time in a starter house, it's going to make everything look a whole ton better, and I'll show you exactly why. We'll once again continue up just like so, out with our fishing rod, of course. And now we can actually head into our stone cutter once again, and we can make ourselves some slabs here, which if we place just in the middle right here, we'll do a little even more for the build too. However, with the staircase being on this end right here, I don't know if I'll do the same thing on this edge of the build. I think that it might be nice to switch it up a little bit, and so we'll come in along just like so, and then once again we'll place some sideways stairs just to make a mini arch like this, which is something I think is very underrated in many builds, and once again just adds that extra bit of life. Eventually the idea is to come in with some flower pots on this side and just give some extra color to the build, but for the time being I'm going to try to fit the roof align area a little bit more into the build. So I'll come down with some stone logs just like so. Not stone logs, wooden logs, some oak logs, which I think I'll once again get around to stripping. And then now it is just about time that we head into our barrel and get a very, very important building material, one that is very, very expensive at this point in the game. And we're going to get out our trapdoors. We'll go to the top of every single stair, just like this, and then we'll come inside of the stair and we'll just kind of jump up and place trapdoors on every stair like so. And now in a very satisfying way, of course, we can place down all of our trapdoors just like this and kind of place them into the correct positions, allowing us to take a step back, place maybe one more just like so, and you can see a really cool looking start of a staircase. Although I do think that I might want to come in here and try to add as much as we can, meaning that the stairs actually could have stayed, so we'll place them back of course, but this now gives us a little area where we can do even more right here, which in my personal opinion is quite impressive given the size of this build. It really is not too big. I do think that it might be nice to come in and do the same thing right here and take out some of our stairs to make even more texture. And then we can also get around to making some oak doors, which will actually head inside of the build and then go to the block where the threshold of the door is and place them in just like so. And the reason that we do that is that it gives even more depth to the build. And so we can do the same if we place down a dirt block right here and then come on in, although as you can hear the timer is going off, meaning that this right here is the full extent of what we're going to be able to get done for today's episode. So if you're enjoying the progress of the build and you're excited to see where it ends up going, consider leaving a like on the video. And if you're new here and you'd like to join the adventure here in the Forever World Survival Islands, consider subscribing to the channel. I can't wait to continue to work on this build, and I will see you very, very soon.